Perfect. Okay, cool. Ready to go. Everyone hear me all right? Sounds like it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Avatar Interop group demo day number 2. And today's agenda, we're going to talk about just do a quick news recap because some really interesting stuff has passed recently, like Genies, an Avatar startup, raised 150 mil, giving it $1 billion valuation, which is wild. Punk 6529 released Open Metaverse and is now web pilled on the tech stack for the Open Metaverse, which is dope. Meta Horizons Web also announced recently, Facebook's social VR platform is coming to WebXR. It sounds like for presentations. First one, M2 can't make it, so I will just kind of cover this awesome demo with code published of bringing back exokit avatars as an AFrame component, and then virtual production studio that me and Boombox had made. And lastly, A has a secret presentation that he says is really cool. And then afterwards, we're going to all jump into VR chat and hang out and celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Open Metaverse Interoperability Group, which just had its 52nd consecutive meetup this week. And so first up is Genies raising 150 mil. We gotta lower this screen. Try not to touch. Okay, A can't speak, but Robert, he can totally do a last minute demo, no problem. Try not to grab the screen. There's a bug in Hubs where I can't pin it, so nobody touch their mouse, please. Thanks. So yeah, this group. Okay, so this company, just a little bit of background, they raised 65 mil before, but they're basically making NFT avatars, and they partnered with Dapper Labs, so it's all on a Flow blockchain, which is really cheap and fast transactions. So I'm gonna assume that a lot of these wearables and stuff is gonna be kind of like, relatively inexpensive. But at the moment, they're not really integrated into any games, so it's pretty speculative. Open Metaverse is this experiment / initiative by really smart and passionate anon in the space. And at the moment is like this museum district that's built on the OnCyber platform. The OnCyber founder has shown up in some of our circles. It's a Three.js based platform, and I think relatively it's headed in the right direction of the browser makes things unstoppable because you're just distributing files. Files are hard to stop, and it's really like loading these open standard based things like GLTF and whatnot, and building on top of open source tech. It has plans to open source parts over time. That is all kind of like said, and I do believe he's a person of his word, so I look forward to this. I think what's really cool about it is it's going for a district approach, not selling land, but kind of just doing things based on communities, and communities build their own districts. That was my favorite part of Decentraland's kind of structure, but they kind of fumbled the whole concept of districts. I think it's going to be really interesting to see different communities self-govern their own virtual worlds, but I do think we'll need better tools on how to collaborate on constructing these zones. And finally, Meta Horizons Web. So this is coming to the browser pretty soon. Reduces a lot of friction, I guess. It makes a lot of sense. It's Facebook / Meta. It's a web company. Now they're building on the web. Overall, who knows? Maybe there's a positive sum path. I think when you're building when you're open-minded to WebXR tech and Web3, it can be a long release red pill, you know. So we'll see how it affects Meta as it rolls out. But that was just announced. So for the first presentation, we're going to talk about the AFrame Exokit Avatars plugin. This is the most basic setup that will load in an avatar, which is really like impressive because you can just basically have, with some static HTML, unstoppable like custom avatars with IK, and add in a little bit of networking, and you have like decentralized VR chat right there that also kind of can guarantee privacy if you can self-host the networking layer. So you have basically this stack that you can run on your own hardware for, I think, the things that a lot of VR people want. They want self-expression of like custom avatars, and this enables such because Exokit's avatar system, it loads GLB, so like Ready Player Me's work, FBX, VR chat even. So like you can literally drag and drop the Unity package of a VR chat avatar project and Vroid, which could also be any VRM. And you can adjust scale. So I have like a video I'll show you in a second where you can scale yourself kind of like in Neos. Visemes, hair animation, all this work. So it's just like a little bit of code and you can get this in the browser. It looks really good. You see the Visemes working on this Ready Player Me, and there's a mirror there that like satisfies 50% of the VR chat population probably. So anybody can now add this into their project, which I think is going to lift a lot of the stigma around WebXR because we've never really had a solid avatar system. Hubs is kind of like, you know, what the focal point in terms of avatars, and I don't give it really that much crap because if you actually look at the Oculus store, you're gonna see a lot of similar avatars in the Oculus like front page. So like not even native apps have all that great avatars. It's overwhelmingly like VRChat and Neos VR are leaders. But it's, yeah, so here's
thumbs
like
down. Put your pointer
this is all
fingers
built
down.
on Avier's
Get
work. Who originally wrote the code back in fall 2019.
Both
This
joysticks
is a group of us
down on the
testing the
index.
networking just to give you an idea of how it can look.
I literally did
multiplayer.
every permutation
So
of every
the
button to like goddamn file
and
map.
then a couple of VRMs on the side, and we're just basically we're all on different headsets, and we figured out how to scale ourselves.
Yeah, good luck.
There's 4 people in the room technically. I'm on desktop mode recording this.
We need a boombox.
It looks like the screen. You might want to reshare, like unshare and reshare, so you get your screen back.
You guys are so tiny.
Somebody tossed the screen. That's what happened. I can't fix it either. I'm not good enough.
Yeah, you gotta rotate it. It's a little awkward. There you go.
What button do you hold to rotate?
How about nobody touch the screen?
Thumbs
Looking
down.
good.
Put your pointer fingers down.
Does it
You
work?
gotta press thumbs touch.
Looks better.
Yeah, you're good now.
We got you.
The other way to focus it is go into the objects pane and then click on the video in there and it'll focus. So in the top right there's an objects list. Click on objects, then click on the video, and then it'll focus that. Oh, but it's not showing up there.
Looking good now, though.
I can probably drag and drop the video for everyone to see and hear in hubs. So if that makes it easier, let me just go ahead and do that. Yeah, one sec. It's okay. And then I just share in the chat.
Nice.
Is it loaded?
Thumbs down. Put your pointer fingers down. You gotta press thumbs.
Yes, it did. I see it and hear it.
Oh, you found it.
gotta you
Which one
push
is it?
both joysticks down on the index.
Oh god. God, that's. I don't want to do that.
I
All right,
literally
yeah,
did
so
every
we just kind of figured
permutation
out
of
how to
every
scale
button until I
ourselves using the
goddamn
same
found that.
avatar system that's now been ported to an A-frame component.
Oh, massive. Oh no, I'm
It's
tiny
really
now.
cool because actually
Yeah,
your
good luck.
perspective, the IPD changes as you scale yourself, so you do get the perspective of being like a giant or like a tiny fairy like as you scale yourself.
need a
It-
boombox,
it's really fun. All right, I'm gonna get to the next demo. But big props to M2 for doing that, and the code for that is already on GitHub, and I will drop a link to it right now in the chat. Cool. Be sure to give that a star. It is highly worthy of a star. Next, we have virtual production studios. So part of, M3 and I think the strategy that we want to take when it comes to Interop that has worked for us really well is good content to go along with documentation. And this studio is super duper versatile. We could use it for fashion shoots, and we can use it for music videos. We could do a lot. So I will show you how it works. First off, in the real world, all around the world, basically, these virtual production studios, especially during COVID, have been being built, and the main innovation is using real-time game engines like Unreal, and with a bunch of new tracking technology that has been accelerated thanks to VR. You need less green screen and actual visiting of locations in order to shoot. You could replace those with huge video screens, and the light spill from those wall screens casts onto the actors and some of the props within there, which allows for really good looking shots when it's all composited on film. So here's kind of how it looks with the parallax effect. You can kind of see on the screen, basically the camera is being tracked, and that data from the camera is being tracked, sent to the game engine, which is all probably Unreal or whatever. But that allows for that parallax effect, and the end result, looks as if they actually shot at that location, but overall saves a lot of money for indies. It's democratizing filmmaking and storytelling, and inspired by these types of studios, we essentially built our own light box, all completely digital, because look at this is still probably millions of dollars worth of equipment. So it's and actually indie, what's considered entry level, is still pretty much out of reach for many. But Unreal did a lot of content and documentation on this new process and the tools, and that led to more investment and bigger projects like The Mandalorian being shot all using virtual production techniques. So they're innovating while they're creating art, and they're documenting how they're creating the art. And I think that is a really intelligent mental model / way of combining content strategies with art and collaboration, because it and storytelling and all these different parts moving together. So, and it just looks fun, creating stories together and using brand new tech. If we can bring this to the metaverse, what kind of stories do we want to tell? First off, these are digital characters, so I don't think what they're doing with these real world actors and whatnot really can resonate with the stories maybe we want to tell from the metaverse. I want to goes through the shoot. So Avatar Interop Group, basically think of us as, you know, we are kind of creating the dressing room that we could shoot content across the multiverse, all these different platforms, and we have persistence of brand and identity, and that really, we want to create new focal points, like show Interop is possible, which it is. It's, you know, possible through like some of these open standards already exist for, you know, bringing avatars across worlds, and you know, so what you're seeing here is currently the I would say the digital backlot that's being created in the wiki page of this group's GitHub. I've got links to download files and why it might be interesting to have this in our kind of like hackerspace storage shelves for people to use in projects. You know, like based on what source they come from or what capabilities they have or the connections to different communities, which is kind of like strategic partnerships, because traditionally crossovers are expensive, you know. Crossing over IP in the real world is something that usually mostly a thing that only big studios and conglomerates can do, but now with NFTs we can do crossovers way easier, especially CC0 projects. So there's an abundance of CC0 3D NFT avatars in the collection.
I have a question for you and for the community as this relates to our partnerships with other events. I am looking at a couple of contracts, including designing and producing a conference for the gaming and media tech industries, specifically on these topics. How would we as OMI and as related communities working on studios and working on pipelines and working on workflows and working on interop tools want to show up for other types of industry events?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's discuss that after in a bit. The studio as it looks, this is like a default template that we have that we could easily remix and mod, and there's a photo studio mode version of it, and the person on the stage also has kind of like a real-time view of the camera. The camera can be grabbed as well, so you could bring it around with you to different areas. And we could add post-processing to there, but for now, like, it works. But behind that, we have full LED, like, video screen walls with a shader. Wait, it's taking a while to change slides over here. Hold on.
There we go. It was animating for a second. It's probably only when you have the window active.
Yeah, that isn't ideal. Do you see this?
We saw it playing.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Active.
All right. Do you see this?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I have to keep this window active then. Do you see the table?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Slide 1.
Got it. Okay. So basically, I have to stay in the tab. Okay. Yeah, so they see a video screen, and we can get pretty good lighting in there. We can even adjust the lighting real time. So like not everything is baked in. The whole studio is kind of adjustable real time. Like we can pick things up, and it's pretty cool. Like you have superpowers in VR, you know, like if you wanted to move a couch, like in the world of Atoms, like moving around giant lighting systems and stuff takes a lot of like, you know, cranes and heavy machinery, while you can literally like grab something super heavy that would be like in a physical world with one hand and throw it at someone else. Like it's nothing, you know? So like the digital world has a lot of really cool perks like that. And yeah, so another thing with the Avatar Interop Group is just showcasing like wearables and a whole bunch of different avatar collections in the same shot. A lot of crossover imagery, you know, is metaversy of Shelling Point. So we did that with one of the latest Metafactory drops with Cody, who scanned himself here, and there's a full body dancer inhabiting a surrogate. And yeah, see, the lighting from the screens bounces real nicely off of our avatar, so we don't even really need green screen anymore. These video walls like take care of a lot of stuff, and it just makes production way more easier and fun because the actors that are in the studio, they're not staring at green, like not knowing what is showing on the screen. They are immersed in the content, which VRChat, by the way, like has really awesome worlds. This is not like something that was like CG animated or whatever. This is a screenshot from VRChat. So I think it's a really good filmmaking slash location scouting platform. Just there's so many beautiful worlds in there, and with the right camera setup, which there's prefabs for, you can get incredible shots. In addition, we're working on performance capture. So when it comes to like this group, we want to also be able to capture and stream animation data. And that's what's happening here is using an open source script called Shader Motion, which encodes the motion of an avatar into these colors on the side of the screen. And I could
Hello. Shader motion is a shader-based motion.
Here, but it's gonna lag. So instead, how about I drop a video in the chat, and then y'all just open up a tab and check it out later, because it's really impressive. So I'm going to drop this video in the chat. And yeah, check out that to see how shader motion works, because that is a force multiplier in all of our productions, and also creates more ingredients for us to test Interop with, because okay, maybe we port like assets, but what if we want to port animations or dances between platforms? That is something that VRChat provides, like a free place to choreograph and capture and basically do a lot more as we're creating art, like music videos, podcasts, TV shows, commercials, all that for the group. And in terms of like what's happening in the virtual production world, like the costs of these systems is being driven down like almost exponentially. So this is like the entry level cost of a helmet that mounts a iPhone camera in front of your face in order to do like AR kit, like face cap, so that you could do like Visemes and all that, like really professional. I'm sure it was like 6 figures before, in the film industry. So, but I also found this solution through some research, which 1200 compared to like 30K, it's like an insane difference. It just kind of feels like the early days of VR in a way, like where it went from being like 6 figures to like being like consumer affordable. And that is happening right now across all of the film industry. And also someone from the M3 community is working on really cool face cap software streaming. Basically, there's a 3JS app, and he built a Blender plugin as well. And he's able to do some really high quality, just expressive avatar work. And I think this area would really benefit with just more documentation and maybe prototyping and open standard type stuff. Like, what about like what are the differences between Vroid, Visemes, and other ones, and can we do this stuff like streaming into between VRChat with the OSC plugin stuff? If so, then we could create a truly like distributed, decentralized, like indie friendly virtual Hollywood, using a combination of free but kind of closed platforms like VRChat, but it has like population density and open source stuff like Web and Blender. and composite that all in a way that can be interoperable across different platforms. And yeah, with that, that kind of concludes my presentation. I have some deets about the after party, which I can share with y'all at the end. In the meantime, if anyone has Q&A, I'm happy to answer. And we also have an impromptu lightning talk by Robert, so.
Yeah, and I'll try and keep it short because I know this is the Avatar Interop group, and only part of this is going to be Avatar related. So.
OSC controls tie-in, OSC is a really, I mean, now with the, we're gonna also visit the new Avatar dynamic avatar world from VRChat because they just pushed a huge update yesterday, and yeah, I want us to check it out because VRChat is like a 24/7 hackathon, and the kind of stuff that you could do with avatar interaction is mind-boggling, and it can integrate with OSC as well. Hell yeah. Okay, I'm gonna post this event info here on the side. Robert, I'll give you the stage in a second. VRChat is not, but you know, in some ways it's kind of inevitable. Like, you can jailbreak VRChat if you want, in a way that, not like modding the client, basically. You can do it in a way that doesn't mod the client at all. All right, Robert, floor is yours.
I will share my screen. How do I get up here? There we go.